Welcome Food Travelers to another episode here in Singapore. In this video, we're sharing our experience at the Edge Buffet at the Pan Pacific of Singapore, and their operating hours is from 12 to 2:30 p.m. for lunch, followed by 6 to 10 p.m. for dinner. And from Sundays, it's from 12 to 3 p.m. for lunch and 6 to 10 for dinner. And they are open 7 days a week. And at the time of this recording, it was 68 Singapore dollars per person for lunch before tax and a 10% service charge. And that equates to about 50 US dollars for those who are watching from the US. And about 34 Singapore dollars for children who are ages 6 to 12 years of age, which is about 25 US dollars. And we did make reservations ahead of time, and it was a great idea to do so because it was actually very crowded, and there was a bunch of company team lunches while we were there.
Micah, one of the things that I always kind of notice with at least Asia compared to the US, other than Las Vegas, is so many of the hotels have these really great buffets, and it's kind of like, feels like it's almost a standard. If you're a large hotel, you'll have a buffet section with a really nice buffet offering, and it seems like the buffets tend to have a good amount of people who come and actually, eat there rather than just kind of having it sit and having just a few here and there that come by and visit.
Yeah, I agree with you, Simon. I think pretty much any large hotel chains, it's almost like it's a must to have a buffet to be competitive in the market. So another thing I did want to mention with this buffet is they do offer 7 different open kitchens for this buffet, and the 7 open kitchens is quite a bit. I think some of them there's a salad section. As you saw in the video, there's a seafood bar, and there's a Japanese section. There's a pasta station, and there is a soup station as well for both Western soup and also Chinese soup or Asian soup, and they also have this carving station. So they have quite a bit, and I also saw a area for Indian food too. So it seems like there's a huge population of Indians in Singapore while I was there.
Yeah, I think overall there's a large population in general in the city or the city itself, so there are a lot. I was a bit bummed, Micah, because I know a while back, as you kind of discussed Singapore, I had planned to kind of possibly join you, but in the end I actually ended up not being able to, and that was a bummer because after seeing all the footage that you have from all the places you've eaten, it kind of made me a little bit sad that I wasn't able to join and actually have enjoyed all those different dishes and foods.
Yeah, it's unfortunate you couldn't join me on this trip, Simon. I think you would have really enjoyed it because, just looking through this walkthrough here, there's definitely a lot more food available than a lot of the US style buffets that we went to in terms of available choices and hot stations that they had there. Another thing, as you saw earlier in the walkthrough, was the duck breast, and that's something that I don't see very often, if at all, at many buffets that I go to.
One of the things that really stuck out for me was, other than what we see when we go to the buffets in Las Vegas, it's just the presentation. I really, really appreciate the presentation, that the amount of effort and the amount of visual styling they do in Asian buffets, especially ones like these where they really do take time to make it look really good. And so I really appreciate that, because the station itself, it always looks interesting with the way they kind of played everything. It's not just you're playing everything lined up in a row and you can just go in and grab stuff. It's just designed and has a nice aesthetically look to it.
And kind of going back to the hours of operation, where I mentioned they open at 12, and they really watch the hour of when they open I remember when I came here and there was already groups of people standing, waiting to get into the restaurant. Usually some of these buffets, they don't allow people to come in until the actual time. So for this one, they actually let us get seated before they were actually open. They said you could sit down, but you can't actually start until exactly 12. And they were all looking at their watches throughout the opening hours, because I know they were still preparing everything, getting everything set. So it's kind of not like when we went to Wicked Spoon. Even though they were open, they didn't really have many stations or items set out for people to grab. This one, they were really watching it and say, okay, just go time, we gotta get the stuff out.
Yeah, that was something I thought was odd when we were at Wicked. It was they opened up, and we opened at, I believe it was 9 a.m. And when we went in and sat down, they did have food that was out there, but it's like they were still in the process of preparing so many things that there are empty stations. So it's definitely nice that they are very mindful of this, and they try to get everything set up for all the customers because they want to keep that kind of quality and expectation of what a customer wants in mind.
Yeah, and as you see in the video, there's a lot of decorations and plants and everything too. So I think that actually adds a lot of elements to it too. And it kind of feels like it's more like those open kitchen style restaurants too, with all the chefs preparing the food in the center of everything. So that's always nice to see something like that, especially in a buffet too. So you can watch them prepare the next items coming out.
How would you say were the chefs behind the counter? How were they compared to like with Vegas? Because I know on our trips to Vegas, Micah, we always go through, and especially as we're coming through, you kind of meet some of the chefs behind there, and some are super friendly, some are friendly, but for the most part, if you're there and you're grabbing something, they'll say something to you or they'll ask you something. How were they over here?
Oh, right here, especially in this seafood section, they were super friendly. They were introducing me to the shirashi bowl, because I was grabbing this cold soba and I was just going back to the shirashi and trying to get the items on that as topping for the noodle. And one of the chefs came by and said, oh, this actually, you can use this with the rice too to make the shirashi. And they also, as you see in the video, they always mention about allergies, so they will always come by and ask if you're allergic to anything or if there's anything specific you're looking for that they can try and offer and assist with.
It's pretty cool. I mean, generally with Asia, you do get some good service when it comes to, I don't want to say fancy, but kind of a more upscale, I guess you can say, places you tend to go to. And so it's really nice they have all this friendly and helps you guide through everything, which, especially with the Open the Kitchen, that's nice to be able to talk to, especially ask any certain questions about specific foods that you kind of want to try, especially if it's something you haven't tried at all or you've never had before. And so just getting that extra input if you wanted it is nice to have.
And as you see on the table there's this lemon bowl of water. That's actually something for you to wash your hands with while you're eating all the seafood, and I think that's a great touch. I mean, in the US, they just give you wet wipes. They don't really actually give you something to kind of clean your hands while you're eating there. Another thing I wanted to mention is, I came here with my parents, and they have mobility challenges where it's not always the easiest for them to walk around and hold a plate as well. So I did want to mention this, the staff and the service from this buffet is top notch. They noticed that they had this issue, and they actually was proactive in addressing these needs from us, and they actually came by and went to the soup section and grabbed us some Chinese or Cantonese style soup, and they brought it to the table so that everyone can try it without any issues there. And they also saw my mom walking around, and they actually came by and took her plate and brought it to the table as well.
That's really nice. That's definitely something you wouldn't get at all probably in the US. you might be able to, but at least I haven't run into it. I'm kind of there with you. My parents, they have mobility issues as well, and there's, you kind of take care of things yourself as you can here in the U.S.
Yeah, and moving along here to the dessert section, as you see, it's actually very pretty looking. There's a lot of different colors and a lot of different type of desserts and things that you don't see here in the U.S., which is not just the gelato flavors, but actual like chocolate bars that you can get, and also some items in the fridge, which is like these, I guess, matcha chocolates that are kind of more on the chewy texture, and it's just a lot different from what I'm used to eating at a lot of the U.S. buffets.
It definitely looked interesting. Like I said, the setup just, it looks so beautiful. Like this, and you're seeing the chocolate fountain. Just the way it's different than the usual. But to me, it makes eating appealing. And they do say you eat with your eyes first, so it's one of those things where you kind of see it and it looks beautiful. It looks, art-like, and just the display makes you look like, okay, that's something I really want to go for and try.
And as I mentioned, how many corporate people were here for their company lunches, and as busy as it was, when you're looking through this dessert section, it's fully stocked. I mean, they did really good job on restocking everything while I was dining here.
So what were the different desserts did you have?
So I had, for gelato, it was a Thai milk tea, and for this other ice cream that I had, or gelato I had, I don't remember which one that is. I have to look at the video again, but it was definitely you could taste, or at least for a Thai milk tea, you could definitely taste that it's Thai milk tea. I mean, it's not like a bunch of ice molecules to it like we mentioned with gelato. Sometimes it's just all icy. It's actually pretty creamy as well. It's pretty good. Overall, this was a good buffet to go to. Really good service. They had a lot of different items, and it was presented very well. So if you're in Singapore, definitely check this one out. And for this notable is the service provided by the staff. During our visit to the Edge at Pan Pacific Singapore with my parents who have mobility challenges, we experienced exceptional service that significantly enhanced our dining experience. The staff were not only friendly, but they were very attentive and also very proactive in addressing our specific needs. Notably, they assisted by bringing various soups directly to our table and helped carry some plates as my parents navigated the buffet. The level of personalized attention exemplifies the outstanding service that the Edge is renowned for.
If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.